What
fucking kidding me? Did you guys just freeze?
is going on, everybody?
What's up, everybody?
It is Saturday night in everyone's household, I believe. And Hexy hit 2,000. Woo, 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 woo!
Woo!
So we thought we'd do a celebration. We hope maybe Brian will get the message and pop over here with us for a couple minutes. I doubt we'll be on like super long, but you never know what happens with us. So, but we're gonna let Andrew San unbox something here.
Cool.
So let's make him supersize here and let him show us what you got. Excuse him while he whips this out.
All right. So I was on Noble Night and saw this bad boy, Legends of Robin Hood. I have the Avalon Hill, whatever Robin Hood.
Now that's what I thought you were going to do. So you said OSG threw me for a loop.
Yeah, so that one is a little bit different. This one appears to be more actual hex encounter. For all I know, they're the same damn game, and I just paid like $15 for something extra, but whatever, that's fine. Anyways, so it is Legend of Robin Hood by OSG, so the Operational Studies Group, which is hilarious because Jeff didn't believe me that, oh, this is not a war game, it's by OSG, Jeff. It might be an original Ziploc bag. I think it's tortoise shit. I feel like I'm going to have to rebag this thing, but that's okay. Let's try and get pieces out as we can go because everything's kind of just loose in here. There's that cover sheet. Oh, yep. So there we are. There's the basic back of games stuff.
This is from Noble Night, you said?
I did.
All right.
I did.
And you went looking for this, or you just happened to see it?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, as a kid, Robin Hood was my favorite, like, movie and everything else and whatnot. And I've always been intrigued, always, read, done all this stuff.
Errol Flynn, Robin Hood?
No, the Robin Hood is a Fox Disney. Robin Hood was my first one that I saw. Oh, hang on. I got counters coming everywhere. Just a second here. So again, in that kind of old school fashion, we've got just real basic stuff. That being said, these are already some of the most, I wonder if there's a copyright on here. 1979. So even for 1979, these are some relatively modern looking rules compared to some of the other stuff that's coming out around that time.
I didn't know OSG was that old.
Yeah, buddy. So the counters, the other one, each counter is like one individual. You're Robin Hood. You are, here we've got either a small unit or a leader, which is what everybody should be used to doing. You can see we got unit types, other, smaller stuff that we've got going on for status markers and whatnot. There's a slip of errata as of 1/22/80.
Wow.
Well, there we go. Again, can you guys see most of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost
so again, we just got, what's up?
Almost
good.
Mm-hmm. Outstanding. But yeah, so you can kind of see what you got. We're not going to go through everything here. There's not a table of contents, so we would have just kind of glanced over that. But you've got setup. I don't know if there's scenarios or not. We can figure that out in a minute. But there's all kinds of stuff listed in here. Whether you got a hanging phase that jumped out at me, where the sheriff can hang an outlaw leader, which is entertaining. There's a taxation phase, so this should be relatively fun to.
Well, wasn't that what that was all about, anyhow?
It is. It's interesting to see this part of Robin Hood, not the other aspects of it, right? Like this is the original Robin Hood. The okay, we're here to rob from the sheriff and survive. You got outlaw recruitment, random rules, which is cool. all kinds of stuff, as well as different personalities: Will Scarlet, Alan Adale, Maid Marian, and Prince John. Which I guess makes sense, as well as the man himself. There's King Richard. But yeah, so I mean, it seems like this should be relatively simple to play. Not necessarily simple to play, but relatively straightforward to play. So there's the rules index. It doesn't look like there are scenarios, which is fine. But there we go. So just to look at victory conditions real fast. Game ends when Robin Hood is killed or hung. King Richard is killed or murdered. King Richard is present at the same time as Robin in the same area as Robin at the end of a game turn. 30 game turns, or all the sheriff leaders are killed. So you've got your traditional good guys are dead, bad guys are dead. There you go. The sheriff wins if he's killed or hung Robin Hood or holds him captive at the end of the game. Also wins if he prevents Robin Hood from achieving all three of the victory conditions listed below. Those three are marrying Maid Marian, who is not a captive, which is good. King Richard being present, like we talked about, in the same area as Robin Hood, because it is area movement, not quite hex encounter. My apologies. That way Robin Hood can get pardoned and go about his stuff. And the third one is to basically bleed the sheriff's treasury down and maintain his own. So that's pretty cool.
It's going to be interesting as an area movement game with probably, I would assume, small forces.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is only a half-size map, which we'll look at in a minute here. So it's a 17 by 22 map. Okay. But, yeah, it is cool. So there is a table of contents index. It's just in the back here, not in the front. So that's good in terms of going back and finding things. Let's dig into that. Oh, let's put the errata back in there.
How many pages were those rules? I missed that.
8, 7.
Yeah, I would imagine the end. I mean, my God, the chapter list looks like it's massive.
Well, it is, except for it's not at the same time, because this is one of the biggest sections and it's only a column.
Oh, okay.
Like it is. It's just, it's got each chapter and then every single bullet point is listed. So, this column here takes up several lines. So, I mean, yeah, no, again, it's not an insignificant little chunk. It also goes from, so there's 3 sections just on the front. But, yeah, so, I mean, again, it should be, just glancing at it, it looks like it should. You've got a setup and turn sequence right at the start. It looks like it's organized pretty well. So I'm not super duper worried about it, to be honest with you. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it at this point. So like I said, let's dig into that.
Well, to be fair, before you do that,
Yeah.
that front page there, pull it up close so we can see what the counter descriptions are. We're not probably able to read it, but what
the
are
unit types down here?
Well, the explanation of the numbers on there, what are they?
Okay, so you've got leaders on both sides, where you've got obvious names, movement, combat is on the left, movement's on the right. If they have a command ability, then in the center, that's where that's at. So Sir Guy doesn't. Robin Hood obviously does. He's the leader of his faction. And then for combat units, you've got the type of unit, the symbol. Again, they have a combat strength, a movement allowance, and then a range strength if they've got it. And then this is just one of the travelers. So we got a bishop and then their movement allowance. So other unit types you're seeing, these are obviously archers. Here's some men at arms. They have a combat strength of 2, movement allowance of 3, but no ranged ability. That makes sense.
So it sounds like they're going to be able to raid caravans as they come through the woods.
That's what it sounds like, because here's another traveler that's a noble. You got nobles and bishops, which makes sense because those are the traditional, opposition or prey for whatchamacallit, for Robin Hood. And again, you've got all these different leaders. So you got Robin Hood, Friar Tuck, Little John, Will Scarlet, Alan Adale, King Richard, Maid Marian, Will Sutley, Prince John, Munch, Nobleman, the Bishop, the Sheriff of Nottingham, the Sheriff of Lincoln, and Sir Guy. So you've got everybody in here. What's up?
No Friar Tuck? Oh, yeah, he's
Friar
right
Tuck
up top.
is the second one, yeah.
All right.
But there is. I thought the same thing when I was reading the random encounters table, because Friar Tuck and Little John weren't on it, and then it occurred to me that they're probably not random people. So that just kind of makes sense. But yeah, so that again, I can't imagine it would take too terribly long to figure this out. But yeah, so design and development, Joe Bizio. Play testing looks like some relatives there. Research is another Bizio. Graphic design is Larry Catalano. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah,
Got
one name that rings a bell with me.
Yeah, the graphic production is Michael Thompson, David Collins, Mark Edwards, and Gail Sadie. So yeah, no, I never heard any of these people. Might make for a really interesting game. But yeah, so there we go. All right.
John Halley's been to Nottingham.
What's up?
John's been to Nottingham.
Well, there you go. Hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah. There are 100 counters. Let me get the
You might have to
map.
you might have to get a 3-inch GMT box to store that.
I think I'm going to probably bag it up and then just put it into a new or slightly larger bag. I want to make sure I got all those out of there. Let's see. Let's take a look at these counters real quick before we unfold the map. The map's what everybody always likes to see.
Looks colorful.
It does, which makes me happy because sometimes you get the exact opposite and sometimes you get that overdone, and it looks like we're at a happy medium. Okay, so we got kind of standard counter cutting shift. So there's Sergei. I don't know how well you guys can read that, but you got a name. The mace is his symbol. He's got a combat strength of 3 and a movement value of 5. Outstanding. There's Maid Marian, same thing. Her combat strength is 0. And then she's got a movement of 0. She's got a command of 0 also. I don't know if that plays into things or what, but yeah, so I'm looking forward to this quite a bit. Here we got the man himself, Robin Hood, combat strength of 3, command of 2, and movement of 6. He's fast, man. But yeah, here's a noble. And I have to look up what disc pass means. Sorry, boys. There's an on fire marker. Here are the mark counters. So for calculating the money. Oh, holy smoly. Look at that.
Oh, I love those things, man.
Got ourselves a teeny tiny little die.
You drop them down a big old dice tower, and them things just roll forever.
I have a dice tower that is modeled off of the tower, and it is a big ass die. Oh my god!
How'd you manage that?
I forgot one of my BEF bases for Flames of War in here. You got to be shitting me.
Oh, you lost points.
Whatever, I did. That's okay. But so here we go. Testing Jeffy's hypothesis.
Where'd it go?
Okay. It stopped right at the edge of the cork in the bottom and didn't go any further. It quite literally hit 1, 2.
Give it a little spin when you drop it.
It's Robin Hood kind.
There we go. We got a 2 again though, so I think Jeffy cursed it.
Oh,
well, that's all right. We'll see. We might have to change that, shimmy it up a little bit. All right. So there's what we're looking at. Here's a bishop. So again, more rating markers. It does look like they're relatively color coded, which is awesome. It looks like all the gold is in this yellow. You got the Sheriff of Nottingham and the bad guys in blue. Merry men are in green. So I'm not gonna lie, that makes me, oh, that's just a spare counter. that makes me happy. That's, again, a nice, refreshing, thing to see in an older game where I would normally expect to see one, maybe two colors of counters.
Right.
These are all mixed up so that you can look and see, okay, we got married men in that area. We got sheriff's men in that area.
Oh, yeah. You got to love the older games where, like, the informational counters were a completely different color than anything else in the game.
Exactly. The informational colors in here are this real odd green, this real, like, sage green as opposed to the green that the married men are. And then even your Robin Hood special characters are white. Your sheriff special characters are red. So you got red goes with blue, white goes with green. These guys are informational counters, and the yellow is money. So this actually, already just looking at it, that's outstanding. It's nice to have something, a lot can be done with modern graphic design and stuff. This is just something that gets overlooked a lot. Quite excited. All right, we'll just gather that right there. I don't know if I have a bag of bags over here. I do have a bag of bags over here.
Sure seems like you could play this. Could you do this miniature somehow?
I feel like yes. I feel like the biggest thing doing this with miniatures would be making this map, which we'll look at in a minute and see how big of a feat that may be. It looks, honest to God, like something that is just screaming for Mr. Patrick Lewis.
Oh, yeah. So for those that don't know, he's a local guy that makes board games into large board miniature games. So like area control movement games from like Academy games that are a little easier games, but
I mean, he did it with Pony Wars from GMT even.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That's his most recent one.
And his maps, so and they're usually area control because then he can, like the areas are like lined by bushes or hedges and rivers and stuff. And his boards are amazing.
So he's done the Academy Viking game, as well as the Academy American Revolution game, the Academy War of 1812 game. He does an incredible job. I don't know where the hell he stores it all. He gets it done, and then he usually uses 6mm miniatures, so there's plenty of room left. And he does the same thing. He organizes the miniatures by the bases have colored rims, as well as then the shape and number of figures that are on there determine what you're looking at. But all right, so without further ado, get into this map. I already see like play aids, including a terrain effects chart and stuff on the edge, which gives me a ton of hope. So again, terrain key, there's a turn track.
Well, we are talking McMurray here, Toady.
What's up? Did I miss something?
The whole Merry Men in Tights, might it be a manifestation of some repressed curiosity?
Yeah, well, again, that's the fun part, right? Because for Warmut's challenge, I painted up this guy, King Richard. Here's Prince John. Here's the Sheriff of Nottingham.
We already got all these guys.
Well, yeah, in the wrong scale, though, and it's me, so you know how that goes. All right, so we do have, honestly, this is I like this map a lot, to be honest with you.
Nice, simple map.
It is. It's a relatively simple map, but at the same time, you're not confused as to what you got. This makes me look forward to playing it. So I don't know what is a better, example of a map than saying, yeah, I want to play this. You've got 3 different castles on here, one down here for the Sheriff of Lincoln, one for Sir Guy, Gisborne Castle, and then Nottingham Castle for the Sheriff of Nottingham, which, again, makes sense. You got Sherwood Forest. There's different areas that I would assume are for deployment that are labeled. So there's A, B, C labeled on here, just on the table. The entrances on the roads are labeled with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you've got married man, married men, and a number, as well as King's Forester, Robin Hood, Will Sutley. Friar Tuck's over here. Little John's right here. So, I mean, it looks, like we said, by all means, exactly what you're looking for in a game. It looks like it has all the hallmarks of the good things you used to see in games.
What's the three castles?
So again, we've got the Sheriff Lincoln Castle for the Sheriff of Lincoln, Gisborne Castle for Sir Guy, which actually I forgot the S in Castle there, but that's okay. I won't hold it against him. And then Nottingham Castle for the Sheriff of Nottingham. Then there's also the town of Nottingham and Nottingham Green. I mean, yeah. So, like I said, what I'm basically seeing is most of the little things that I've come to enjoy and hope for in older games, like this map. It's simple. It's colorful. You don't have any questions about what you're looking at. While at the same time still being, at least for me, quite visually attractive. As well as you've got player aids on the board or on the map. I don't think there is a turn sequence, but that is the only thing I'm not seeing. Just glancing at it and thinking about, okay, what are we going to need? Because moving around the side, we've got a terrain key, we got a turn record, a tax table, a melee table, terrain effects chart, archery table, recruitment table, a traveler's box, because again, your travelers come in at random points. You have to roll to see who comes on. Then you have Robin Hood's treasury, the sheriff's treasury, and then a pool for your just the gold marks, which again are the currency.
Right.
So the melee effects table and the archery effects both have a full explanation of the results. I mean, it's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. I'm a big fan already.
Toady, I get you. You open up a new game, you see it, and you want to play it, or you see somebody that maybe has a video out there, and you see the map when you first start watching them play the game. You're like, man, I got to get that out and play it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a good thing. It's been a minute since I've had that. Oh man, I really want to play this, right? With at least with a game that's manageable to sit down and play, with the current, goings on. So this is quite exciting and quite welcome.
That is really, really good. And so does it have a time period on the turn record track, or is it just
no, it's just 1 through 30. I'm not sure, but I would imagine there might be an explanation in the rules, because they do a pretty good job looking at it. No, I'm not sure if it's quite that concrete in terms of, I'm not sure how well a scale would work other than for the counters, because it's not like you can say, oh, a field is X across.
What's the solo capability? John Halley asks.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't have a rating on it somewhere?
What's up?
No rating on it somewhere, maybe the back of the cover?
No, not that I saw, but some of the hallmarks that I would be looking out for in a solo game, such as having cards, having hidden stuff, you know what I mean? It would make it really hard to determine, well, okay, I just saw that guy's hand, or I just saw what's under his hidden counters.
Right.
How am I supposed to just ignore this? Those things aren't here. Right. So I don't have to worry about 2 hands of cards. I don't have to worry about the other kind of random stuff that would be hidden from one player to the other. So I would imagine that there is, at the very least, a good amount of solo playability. I'm not sure how much it is one scenario. So I'm not sure how much solo repeat playability there might be. But realistically, how many of us play games more than 2, maybe 3 times?
Well, you would think with Robin Hood and his merry men, there would be some kind of a hidden or ambush or.
So, I mean, again, I'm sure that there is. I think the big way that is abstracted is having archery strength so that they can just shoot. But again, I'm not sure. We'll have to see. I don't know.
I would say that if you were still on your original shift you used to work, you'd have this thing played before the sun come up.
Correct. Correct.
Pretty cool. Right? And would you? How many ducats did you drop on this at Noble Knight?
15 or 20. I don't remember. Either way, certainly.
That seems to be the thing, between 15 and 30 bucks for something like this.
Certainly. Oh no, it was not 30.
Right.
It was not 30, but it certainly wasn't. Let's put it this way: it was something that I saw. I looked on Board Game Geek, and it was an immediate, yeah, okay, that's worth it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, if you guys are like me, you tend to kind of build up a cart on a store like Noble Knight, and then you got to go back through and trim it down. This wasn't something that I was looking at going, maybe I don't need that. This was I'll play that by all means.
Yeah, well, you'll have this thing learned in no time, but it seems like you got an awful lot of charts there, so.
That's okay though, because if they're on here on the table,
right,
I don't have to worry about it. Also, of all the charts, the only ones you really need to that are on here for keeping track of purposes, because these are all just reference tables, right?
Right.
These are all just tables that I'm going to have to use anyways, and it's just nice that it's on the map instead of having to flip through here. Turn record, that doesn't even count because that's going to be here no matter what. You got 2 treasuries, which, again, not a big deal. You have the pool, and then that just leaves the little traveler box where you're figuring out where things are coming in and who is. So it's not. There are a fair number of boxes, but none of them are, again, things that I would look at and go, maybe not. You know?
Right.
So.
Like Risk? Well, maybe with a lot more detail.
I'm going to say it certainly seems like there's more detail than Risk, but.
Yeah, but you push pieces around in an area, and that's the overview you get from like Risk and Axis and Allies.
Exactly. Yes, it is. It is an area movement. Absolutely.
You and Todd have been, I mean, not necessarily a heavy kick, but you all have been in this area movement realm here, talking about it for about the last 2 or 3 weeks. And so you just got another one that y'all have got to play that I sent out there to Todd. Y'all just finished one up, and I know y'all love to get Storm over Arnhem, because I would love to see y'all play that one. So
I would really like to play that one also, to be honest with you.
But don't you have some MMP ones sitting around there too?
I think the only MMP area movement game I have is Storm over Jerusalem.
Oh, okay.
Which I loved. So
yeah, that was a good looking game. So
not a problem. Yeah, that game was fantastic. I was a big fan of that. But yeah, no, I mean it's one of those things that I told myself, I'm going to stick to Hex Encounter, which was dumb because I think we've all played enough. I know it's been about a year, but you went on your big, okay, I'm going to try out a bunch of area movement stuff.
Right.
And had a good time with a bunch of them. So it's one of those, okay, yeah, we can do this. We can.
Oh, I know you'll have a blast with this. I've got the Clash of Arms Civil War series games. There's like 5 of them that are area movement that I really, really, really want to play, and I'll get around to it eventually. But just, other things brewing right now. So
yeah. Well, the good thing is, as you guys know, I enjoy the medieval-esque period.
Right. It's
hard to find games that really click with me. Like I said, that great Medieval Battles 4-pack that I got.
Right.
I loved. You guys know that. Again, I think I played through 2 or 3 of those scenarios in a night. Loved it. Fantastic. Big fan. Of course, it's out of print, so they're not making them anymore. But this hopefully will be another medieval itch scratcher, for lack of a better term.
You plan on playing this the next few days?
I work tomorrow, but then yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about what I had planned when I hit 2,000. So I'm going to say that word Patreon.
Oh, shit.
I know that everybody and their brother. I mean, I know Patreon is. I imagine a lot of people use it for making money. Okay, well, yeah, money would be cool. But I had Mississippi Fortress. Yeah,
I thought you were going to say OnlyFans, but
well,
all right.
I keep thinking about. I thought to myself, I think it would be cool so that a lot of the subscribers I could do like special stuff for them. But then I thought to myself, well, I'm sitting here all day thinking to myself, well, my God, what can I do? What, that I wouldn't want to share with the entire gaming world instead of just subscribers. And I'm hoping that some of you guys may have some ideas, or else I'm just going to not flip the switch and not do that.
Toddy, what do you do on your members only?
Wear a cool jacket that's all black with epaulets on it.
Nice. And nothing else, right?
Correct.
There you go, Jeff. You got to get
It's all
yourself a cool get up.
like some like instructional stuff, but I thought that would be a shame to not share that with everybody in general. I mean, the GBACW stuff that I did a while back, my God, I still get massive amounts of views on that stuff and people sending me messages thanking me for putting that up there. And granted, I know I probably missed a bunch of things, but I just cannot put my finger on something that I could do that would be more personal, behind the scenes approach for subscribers. I really don't.
I mean, there's plenty of people that do like early release stuff. One thing that I'm not necessarily a huge, as big of a fan of, especially thinking about doing it myself, is like having people kind of decide, okay, what am I going to do next?
Oh yeah.
Or suggestions, which you can certainly manage. Like if you put up a, hey, here's a poll, what do you guys think I should play next out of this curated list? That's one thing. But yeah, there's lots of people who do that sort of thing. People do the exclusive like hangouts sort of stuff. So if you were interviewing, say, I don't know, Kev, if Kev ever decided to put out his own SCS game, you could interview Kev, right? And then you could put that up there or something like that. I think ultimately, I don't know. Follow your heart, Jeffy. Sure, eventually, buddy.
One thing I thought about is maybe like if somebody is struggling with how to play something, maybe I could do a video addressing what it is they're struggling with, and it would be specifically there for them.
Oh, baby. Jeffy does.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Jeffy does, tutorial videos on request. I need some help getting a game over there out of the box and understood. So I'll be your first.
I'll be bombarded with ideas right there.
I'll be your first Patreon if you teach me how to play Avalon Hills Jutland.
Isn't that a little revert? You should start a Patreon to teach me how to play.
See, there you go. I'm gonna start paying Jeff $5 a month to make him play naval games. This is a great idea, guys. There we go. There's Jeff's Patreon. All we do is make him play like naval games and
airplane games.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Nothing Eastern Front. Nothing ACW.
Oh, I'm gonna put some thought to it, and Tony, those are some good ideas right there, man. Those could be useful, I think, for people.
Again, the early release stuff. If you want to do like, that would be probably a good place if you wanted to do like live plays. You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily your AARs or your how-tos, but hey, do you guys want to, watch me play this game? Do you want to get down in the nitty-gritty of here is, an hour and a half of Jeff sitting there working his way through GBACW, and you can watch the entire thing? That might be something that you know what I mean? That might be a route to take.
Right. Yeah, I'm going to put some thought to this. Thought to this. I think I knew there's got to be something there that could be done that would be useful for everybody. But like I said, I don't want to. It's like trying to watch your local sports team that gets blacked out. I don't want to do that to the gaming world. If I have something that I produce that is valuable, Chuck, you'll be my first player. We do some Monopoly.
Well, yeah, but I mean, and that's the thing, right? Like, because you hit 2,000 for a reason. And the last thing you really want to do is then take that reason and hit it in the kneecap.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I definitely don't want to do that. If for even a moment, if that thought gets into my head over doing something like that, I'll trash it. I won't do it.
Exactly, and that was why most of the suggestions, it seemed like we're spinning around things that you don't necessarily do, especially not on a regular basis now.
Right.
Because I fully agree. Like your stuff, like, okay, here's walking through a turn of GBACW, GCACW, walking through a turn of Three Dog, or we're gonna get real into playing a turn of Gettysburg 77 Advanced. Those things, by all means, don't throw back behind there, because those are things that people need to see, people love seeing, people enjoy the fact, and treasure the fact that you play those, and you play those well, and it's not something that you can just waltz onto the internet and find.
Right.
Yeah, man.
What do we got going on this week? What y'all got going on? What's on the agenda, Andrew? You're only working tomorrow. What's on the agenda for? I know you're gonna need a couple days off. What are you gonna do? Other than that, what else are you gonna do?
This guy, I might play some more of the Decision Games Folio series, Battle Wagons and Dreadnoughts or whatnot. That's got those 4 naval games in it. I'm a fan of how kind of easy to just sit down and play those rules are.
Right.
They are currently restricted, understandably, to 4 relatively small gameable encounters between the First and Second World War. That being said, there are many, many more you could do. I would just have to come up with the statistics and make counters for those different ships.
Well, what's that stuff I saw you had in your hands, those ships you had in your hands the other day? You were talking about you found something, or
the ones I had out here?
No, you sent us a Facebook picture of a bunch of ships.
3D printed.
Yeah.
Oh, that was 3D printing? Those are 1/1200 scale models. So
right.
Those are twice the scale of this thing. This is a 1/2400 scale HMS Sydney, HMS Australia. So it's a heavy cruiser. So this thing in that scale would be...
Yeah, but you were going to do something, I thought.
Twice as long. Yeah, I was thinking about trying to mess with this system, but on those same stands that I used for the Spanish-American War stuff.
Right.
Long face games. So David Manley's rule sets he's got fleet battle rules for obviously World War I, World War II.
So while we got him in the chat here, y'all make sure y'all come around here Friday night, because
Stigler in the chat?
Yeah, we're gonna drag Stigler in here, and this is cool because the 3 of us have put a lot of thought to this, and we were discussing why the 3 of us questioning Stigler's, because we have my play, Andrew's knowledge, and Todd's general gaming knowledge of stuff. This is going to be a fun evening with him on here. And he's already out there telling the Facebook community that we can't make him talk. We're going to have him squealing like that guy in the movie Deliverance.
Okay.
10 minutes in.
Or he's just going to be talking like a lecturer, man. Like we're just going to have him do a TED talk on By Sword and Bayonet.
That's going to be 9 p.m. on this coming Friday, the end of the week. So make sure y'all pop in. That's
9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern. So that's going to
8
be a
in the
blast.
Midwest, 7 Mountain, and then
now,
6 in Charles time.
Let me tell y'all what I know about Stigler. Y'all know his online presence and the individual he is and the knowledge base he is and how tough he can be on the customers out there. Let me tell you something. I met him in person. He's a big old teddy bear that just the American Civil War. And he is a blast to be around, and even more of a blast when he's playing a game, just from the short time that I saw him.
It sounds like that big board gaming guy. Great big teddy bear in person.
It's gonna be fun this Friday. Todd, what do you got going on this week? What are you gonna try to get done?
Tuesday, the group I'm getting together with to play Crete in May, we're going to get together and discuss the campaign rules, what we need to do, make sure we're all clear what the objectives are, and then we'll start. I don't know if we'll start on Tuesday or not, but then we'll start doing landing. We'll probably get like the first day done, so then we'll meet together in person. So we'll play for the next few months, and then get together and put the board together and play live for 3 or 4 days. That happens Tuesday. Wednesday is you and I play GCACW, start scenario 2 and all green alike. Thursday is D&D with the Dragonlance campaign that my friend made, and Friday is Stigler. So it's a full week.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Oh,
Wow, I didn't
man.
realize. Yeah. How's the Dragonlance thing going? How far along is that ago?
We've had 36 sessions, and we've gone a year and a number of months.
Didn't you say this was like a 50 session thing or something like that?
Oh no, it'll be a 5-year thing at least.
Oh wow, wow!
If we last.
And what level is your character up to?
We're 7.
Okay, it's a grind.
damn.
D&D's a grind, man. I mean, but it can be funner than hell, especially if you got a DM that knows what the hell they're doing.
He knows
Sounds
what
like
he's
you
doing.
did.
He's been playing since he was like 10. He's whatever, 40 something. Smart dude. And
Dog, you guys are going to be like demigods if you're level 7 at a year and a half in and you're playing 5 years.
Yep. I don't know. Yeah. Who knows, man?
Well, my world this week, other than what I'm doing with you guys throughout the week, is to continue grinding on this. I would like to, by the end of the week, at least get past lunchtime. And wait a minute. At least get past lunchtime. I'm in the middle of, before we started this, I'm in the middle of some activations with good old Braxton Bragg, the super general of the South out in the West. And actually he's doing a pretty good job in the area there against Hurlbutt and McClernand, who actually just arrived on the scene. And unfortunately, between those two divisions, they've had 5 regiments already routed off the map, but this is the last turn that they get this funny route rule in this game. So, but let me tell you something. You don't, a lot of people will, and I'm no different, you get flustered about stacks of counters. But I would imagine with the Civil War, even though I missed it by a couple years when I was born, the confusion of all these troops being crammed in against each other and troops trying to take over spots where other troops were, or troops trying to fall back through them. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, this system here, it has to be the closest thing to accurate that we can imagine, because I almost start cussing at myself. Like, you can see the dark brown striped Confederate units there in the back end. That's Breckinridge's corps, who has just now arrived up into the front middle. And the intention is to have him in that gap between Bragg, who was the orange and green Confederates, and Hardy, who are the red striped Confederates, to get in that gap so that I can pull some of those brigades off, hopefully kill some of that fatigue, and Breckinridge can pick up the attack. But every time I got them there where I want them, but now the next step is going to be when to push them up that road there towards Duncan Field, and how I'm going to pull Hardy and Bragg out of the way to let Breckinridge get up in there and let those boys rest. And don't get me wrong, I am not joyful about attempting to do that, but it's going to have to be done. So that's what I'm going to work on. And that you're looking at those you don't know, that's Into the Woods. That's Dick Whitaker's first personal creation in the Great Battles of the American Civil War. He's got his hands in a lot of stuff, but that's the first one he did, but it's pretty much his name. And let me tell you something, this thing's a freaking blast. And I just, grind out a couple activations here at a time. And, maybe on a weekend, if I'm like I was today, I was really getting into a roll. I've already gone through, I think 15 activations on this turn, and I'm only in the 10 a.m. turn. So this thing's if you want something detailed, get yourself a GBACW game. Matter of fact, I recommend you pre-order Stigler's version, get ready to come out, because it'll intro you in or walk you in with some light battles. There you go. There, I said it.
It is currently on P500 and it's met its number, so it's certainly not a bad idea. Hop on there and order it.
Yep. Not expensive, and you get some good, lightweight, very detailed gaming out of it. And I ain't even seen this thing yet.
I'm
I'm
about to
waiting
say
for-
there's 4 scenarios or 4 engagements in it, so it's not like you're not getting a bang for your buck either. It's affordable at, not getting 4 full scenarios out, or not 4 full engagements out of it. So with 4 in there, that's pretty incredible.
I'm waiting for Stigler to send me my deluxe gold signature edition of the game. I'm sure those are out there somewhere.
We actually talked about it, and he's not sending that to you. He's sending that to me, and it specifically says this is for McMurray, not Jeff on it.
All right, gang. Well, you know what? I know it's Saturday night. We all of us, we can just sit here. I mean, we have 27 people here that I can see on YouTube right now.
That's
I don't know
pretty
what's
good,
on pod. Yeah. I'll put this out there because the 3 of us can ramble on and on forever, but I hadn't intended on that tonight. But if there's anybody in chat right there, if there's something that you need to hear us discuss, pop it in there right now. If you got a question, get the question in right now. I'd say if you got a question for Stigler, wait till Friday or put it in there now and give him time to think about it if you want.
That's
a
good
good
point.
Something you want to fire, let's fire away. I'm sorry, Todd, you were going to say?
No, it's a good idea. If you have a question for our Stigler for next Friday, do it.
Thanks, Lord. No, I did not Stig. Major boo-boo. I passed on it. Can't believe I did, especially since that's the NES one, right? I can't believe I passed on an NES game since there's such a rarity to come out anyhow. I should have grabbed it.
Did you say NES?
New England Simulations,
Oh, okay, good.
not Nintendo Entertainment System.
That's why I was confused.
Because we'd be all over that, wouldn't we? It seems like everybody but me has that damn game. I think that might have been a boo-boo. McMurray unboxed The Legend of Robin Hood from OSG 1979. And
Correct.
You can see the pretty picture there on his table. He will be playing that here within the next few days, I'm sure.
Yep. And if you're watching this live or later, it's right at the start of the video if you're going back and looking for it.
And we'll I'm sure he'll play it and we'll put it up on one of the channels so y'all can see it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And McMurray, he's a barrel of knowledge when he plays stuff like that and explain it. And you got to admit, if he ever decided to have his own channel, it would be even better. But he does such a good job explaining it in quick bursts. So, yeah, I know Stig, but I was hoping that one of my buddies would have bought it, and then I just waited for it to run off its lease, and I would get my hands on it. But they passed on it.
Why would I ever order that? That's not even my thing. That was a false. You should have known better. You should have like, okay, Todd's not ordering that one. So that's on you, bro.
Those are the ones you got to plant in his head like a year early. So he's like, yeah, that does sound pretty cool. Even if I might not play it, I feel like I should still grab it and it might give it a shot.
Which Western game do you like best? Ruthless, Dead Man's Hand, Fistful of Lead, or anything else? That's for you guys, not me.
Oh man, who asked that? Somebody asked that a little while ago.
Weiss?
Is that John Weiss?
Uh-huh. You are. What's up, buddy?
Big fan of Fistful of Lead. I haven't played much Ruthless. Did you say Dead Man's Hand in there?
Yeah, Dead Man's Hand and Fistful of Lead, or something else.
Again, that was also not quite my favorite. For something that you could play as a board game, Gunfight Royale was pretty awesome by Forrest Harris, who wrote Gunfighter's Ball. Both those are pretty good. Gunfighter's Ball, as well as whatever. Who wrote Sons of Mars? Joe. I don't know. He has a Western game also those are a little more granular, almost to the point of RPG like. That usually gets a little past me. You guys know I'm going to say Fistful of Lead, so I can just sit down and play a game of it because I know the rules so well and I'm so familiar with it. Fistful of Lead Reloaded 2 is out. It's already pre-packaged Fistful of Lead for Western, so that's probably my answer. Ruthless is free. There's plenty of videos about it. Plenty of videos about Fistful of Lead and the others, though, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Toddy?
Yeah. Go ahead, Todd.
I don't know if I have a favorite Western game. Probably be Fistful of Lead.
I did play.
That's the only one I played. So
I did play a Fistful of Dice or Dead Man's Hand quite a bit a few years back. I think it's actually a Brian Ansel from way back in the day.
What's the one I played with y'all when I first joined up with the group?
Fistful Lead.
Okay. Yeah, I don't.
Fistful Lead. If it was on like a game board, then it was Gunfight Royale. But probably Fistful Lead.
Yeah. Well, for me now, the only miniatures I play are going to be if I play in one of the games these guys host, which lately was only been Zombicide that Brian's hosted. So
you still played? You had a good time?
I did. Yeah, no doubt. I did enjoy it. It was fun. And we had a bunch of people playing that night, and we had a good old time.
Mm-hmm.
I got to drive a car that you tried to damage, and
I did not try and damage. I ran over a lot of zombies, man.
Nord, I am halfway through the 10 a.m. turn I was playing just before we started this tonight. And
Nord, the question is, are the robot legions of Joseph Johnston?
He hasn't died yet. You have to roll for him to die.
I know that, but the question is, are his and Braxton Bragg's robot legions going to be mounting Grant and Sherman's heads on spikes and marching up the Mississippi and Ohio rivers by noon or by afternoon tea? Lunchtime or afternoon tea time? That's the only question.
I will say this. What I'm finding a little interesting is, so on the screen there in the lower left corner, you see the one red counter. That's Braxton Bragg. He has no negative modifiers on him. He doesn't have any positives, but he doesn't have any negative modifiers, which I found interesting since, he was supposed to be so bad. But I want to say there was something I read. It was either about him or it was about AP Hill that whatever it was they went to, whether it was West Point or whatnot, that they were extremely efficient with strategy and tactics. And then you wonder, well, what happened when they
Is it AP Hill who was like super religious, or was it AP Hill who got sent home for a year because he got syphilis and he had to go home and recover and almost got thrown out of West Point?
God, I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah, see, even Stigler says Bragg ought to be loaded with negatives. I mean, it's not like he's getting any benefit from him. But, and of course, I don't think his command range is very, very strong. You don't see him on there, but Johnston, well, there's Beauregard, and Beauregard's got a 1 up top of his counter there, so he can add some. Plus, you have Beauregard and Johnston, which is kind of cool that you have two sort of OCs on the map because they have abilities where they can affect units themselves, where most of the time an OC on the map doesn't really create much benefit to others in there. But the interesting thing to this game is, I was talking about the routing on here, through the 10 a.m. turn, the Yanks, whenever they have a special route rule. When a certain thing happens, they have to roll. And in route, in this game here, like if you play the old GBA-CW stuff, the early years, they just, they end up running away 3 hexes and you put a routed marker on the back of them or you flip them over. Not in this game here. You remove them from the board and you put them in a routed box, and then they have to be recovered. In this particular game, much like all series games, you have core rules, but then each particular game has specific rules. Well, this one here has specific recovery rules that are slightly different from the normal system. So, and I think I counted them earlier. I think I said I had 15 regiments from the Union Army that are over in I'm talking regiments that had strength markers on them anywhere from 6 to 15 that are routed and sitting over in a box and have got to be recovered. You can see one leader. Oh yeah, well, you can see one leader on the map there that's in reserve up in that top right corner. He's going to hope he's not doing anything. There's 3 of them on the board right now that are 2 are in a reserve status. One needs to get in a reserve status, and then they're going to try to recover their regiments. And it's done by a dice roll. But like I say, when this turn ends and we move to the 11 a.m. just before lunch, that route rule is no longer punishing as bad. There's a few green units in this game, but I'm amazed that some of the morale levels are actually pretty high on some of these units in this game. I mean, Cleburne's boys up in the top, which you can see a few of them up there, they're pretty stout guys. There's a lot of 7 and 8s on this game. So But yeah, this is a blast, man. These woods and firing through these woods, and then that real dark condensed green patch right there is the thickets just around the hornet's nest. That's a pain in the ass, but hey, but I'll tell you, I've had no glimmer of wanting to take this off the table, so I got a feeling I'm going to get quite a far piece in this game. Hopefully, it'd be nice if I get all the way to the end of it. The president behind you. All right, so hey, Chris Long has a question for me. McMurray, did you pull the sub out on me when I got to 2,000?
I didn't. I didn't. I have done that to Jeff on almost every, I feel like, major YouTube accomplishment you've hit since like 150 or 500 viewers or subscribers. So no, I did not, Chris Long. I gave it to him on this one. We're going to pull a mass exodus when he hits 3,000 and drop him down to like 2,700.
You're just going to get everybody. I'll be amazed if I get to 3,000. That'll be interesting.
Of course you get to 3,000. Just might take you 10 years.
And Sawyer, you and I got to get together, dude. You and I are going to have to do something, all right? Because you're shooting video stuff. I'm doing it. We're both beating up the same system. Stigler plays it on Vassal. We're going to figure out how to do something somewhere here in the near future. So, all right, Todd, what's the next scenario we're playing? Johnston versus Patterson or something like that?
Yeah, just a little bit more figures. I mean, figures, no, whatever, miniatures. A few more counters on the board. Probably a little bit bigger map area. I haven't really looked at it too much, so I can't really give a whole much to that. But man, it is interesting though. Looking at Half-Ass Gaming is playing some later war thing, and the leaders have like, first of all, you got like 18 manpower strength going on there. You got 3, 4, 5 quality. You got it's got to be just really different how it plays later on. I think it's cool that we are starting early and seeing what it's going to be like as we progress through.
Right.
It's kind of like early war, like all the weapons are lighter. The tank in World War II, all the tanks are kind of cans, and I don't know, it's fun.
Stig, you talking about Cousin TJ and Uncle Bobby? Those, let me tell you the story about those. The reason why I have those. Well, other than I grew up in Virginia. My mom used to work years ago at the Commonwealth of Virginia Bank over in Sterling Park, Virginia. And when that bank went out of business, she got those for $2 a piece. And it's probably the only thing from my childhood that I've actually held on to. On the table, that's Into the Woods. That's where I'm here. That's where you keep me switching my camera. That's over there hanging above it. Picture look good? I hope so. Unless there's another table you're talking about. I took my big monster two-piece table stuff down. Yep, that's both maps. That's so my 2 pieces of that's a packing tabletop you get from and they're heavy. Don't make that mistake of buying those. I got them from who's that big magazine that comes out? It's like a real thick.
Uline?
Yeah, thank you, Uline. Those are replacement tabletops for their shipping tables. And when I put them together I had 2 pieces of plexiglass cut to fit them. It's 5 foot by 6. So any standard square or rectangular format game out there, I think the only ones I can't play are like the full It Never Snows from SCS. I can't put the full RSS Gettysburg game on there. I can't put Highway to the Right in full on there. Unless I don't know, maybe if I put the tables end to end, I could, but I don't really have. I'm in an apartment. I don't really have a room, so I just empty my living room, which a lot of people keep telling me I should since I'm the only one here. So, and yes, that is 4K on that camera. Only problem is it doesn't mean nothing when when I shoot video, it's good, and it has helped when like if I walk over there now, and because I was testing this earlier. Oops, I'm sorry, I was testing this earlier with Todd. So if I walk over here now, he finally told me turn your damn autofocus off. So I can come over now and I can play and shoot. But somebody said something to me the other night about zooming in, and so people can see the action. Well, yeah, I can pull the camera down, and plus with those 4K cameras, you have 3 different fields of view that work really well. So I mean, I can zoom out or in like that, just using the field of view. Todd's got the same thing there. So, but yeah, it works pretty good. And funny is I had one, didn't even know it, and then I bought a second one. Dope.
Walkabout, you're gonna love them, buddy. You do a Malaya for your. That's gonna be fantastic. I can't wait to see that, man. That being said, Jeffy, Toddy, you guys are the best.
Yeah, we're gonna kill it. We're gonna kill it now.
I gotta crash. You
Bye,
guys
bro.
are doing great.
Get some sleep. I am.
Yep. Bye, guys.
All right, everybody. Hey, all y'all, thanks for popping in tonight. I sure do appreciate it, and thanks for the congrats on 2,000. Hopefully, we'll keep that going, and I'll start thinking about some things I can do to make it worth all you wonderful people's worthwhile. So, all right, we'll talk to y'all later. Hey, remember, don't forget, next Friday, be here for the thing at 9 p.m. Eastern with Stigler. We'll see y'all then. Later.
See ya.